In the quiet yet bustling communities of Osino, Bunso, Saman, and the surrounding areas in Ghana's eastern region, a storm is brewing. A group of determined landowners has taken a stand, halting the construction of a critical dual carriageway that promises to link the nation's capital, Accra, with Kumasi, the second largest city. Quick reminder for those who haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so to stay updated on such insightful content and help us reach our goal of 30,000 subscribers by the end of this month. Your support means a lot. This road, envisioned as a lifeline for commerce and travel, has instead become the epicenter of a tense standoff between the government and the people whose properties were sacrificed for its creation. The landowners, now embattled and embittered, claim that they have yet to receive the compensation promised to them. A compensation that was supposed to help them rebuild their lives after their homes and businesses were demolished to make way for progress. The origins of this conflict trace back to over a year ago when two prominent construction companies, First Sky and Justmo, were tasked with this ambitious road project. The dual carriageway, a symbol of modernization and economic growth, was set to be a transformative infrastructure initiative. But for the people of these small towns, this transformation came at an unimaginable cost. In the early hours of an ordinary day, the affected landowners awoke to the sounds of heavy machinery and the sight of their properties being reduced to rubble. The land that had sustained generations, housing families, businesses, and livelihoods, was suddenly and violently taken from them without adequate consultation or warning. These were not just patches of land, they were the lifeblood of an entire community. The people who lived and worked there were not faceless entities, but rather individuals with names, stories, and dreams. Among them were landlords who had invested their life savings in building homes, chop bar operators who fed the community, mechanics who kept vehicles running, farmers who toiled to bring food to the tables, welders who forged the metal that built the town, and electricians who lit up their world. Each of them had a stake in the land, and each of them watched helplessly as their world crumbled around them. As the dust settled from the demolition, a new reality began to set in, a reality fraught with hardship and uncertainty. For many, the destruction of their properties was not just the loss of physical structures, but the annihilation of their very existence. The promises of compensation made by government officials and echoed by the construction companies offered a glimmer of hope. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, that hope began to fade. A year passed, and the promised compensation remained elusive, leaving the affected landowners in a state of limbo. Jesse Amankwa, the leader and spokesperson for the group, alongside Burima Ansa Sasaraku Ofram the Siku, the chief of Akiem Akiamankase, have been at the forefront of this fight for justice. In a heartfelt interview with RadioOnagana.com, Jesse spoke of the profound impact this situation has had on their community. The demolition, he explained, has plunged them into all sorts of hardships. Some of their fellow property owners have died during this agonizing wait, their lives cut short by the stress and despair brought on by the loss of their homes and livelihoods. Others have been rendered homeless, forced to live in makeshift shelters, or rely on the kindness of relatives and friends. The financial strain has been unbearable, with some landowners now being hounded by banks, desperate to recover loans that were taken out to support businesses that no longer exist. In a poignant recounting of the events, one landowner shared his anguish with Desmond Tabi Odame, a reporter for Radio 1. "We were promised compensation, but it has been over a year, and we have heard nothing from the government," he lamented. His voice, filled with a mix of anger and despair, echoed the sentiments of many others who have been left to fend for themselves in the wake of the demolition. "We are not leaving here until we hear something from the government," he vowed, capturing the collective resolve of the community. This determination is more than just words. The landowners have turned their protest into an act of defiance, setting up camp at the Jasmore construction site at Akiem Eshiakwa junctions. With cooking utensils and beds in tow, they have settled in, prepared to stay as long as it takes to get the justice they deserve. Their presence is a stark reminder of the human cost of development, an unyielding force that cannot be ignored or brushed aside. As they stand firm in their demands, the construction of the dual carriageway has come to a grinding halt. The very roads that were meant to serve as vital arteries connecting Accra to the rest of the country have become symbols of the broken promises and unfulfilled obligations. The landowners' protest has drawn attention to a critical issue that goes beyond compensation. It is about the right to be heard, the right to be treated with dignity, and the right to be compensated fairly for what was taken from them. The implications of this standoff are far reaching. On one hand, the halt in construction disrupts a key infrastructure project that is essential for the nation's growth. On the other hand, it shines a light on the often overlooked struggles of those who pay the price for progress. It is a situation that calls for immediate and thoughtful resolution, one that balances the needs of national development with the rights and well being of the affected communities. As the days pass, the tension continues to build. The landowners remain resolute in their stand, their protest growing stronger with each passing day. Their story is a powerful reminder of the importance of fair treatment and the devastating consequences when those in power fail to honor their commitments. It is a call to action for the government, the construction companies, and all those involved to address the grievances of the landowners and to provide the compensation that was promised. In the end, this is not just a fight for compensation. It is a fight for justice, for recognition, and for the right to live with dignity in the land of their ancestors. The people of Osino, Bunso, Saman, and the surrounding communities have spoken, and their voices will not be silenced. They have drawn a line in the sand, and they are prepared to stand their ground until their demands are met. The construction of the dual carriageway may be on hold, but the fight for justice is just beginning.
If today is your first time watching this channel or you are returning to this channel for the exciting content, please subscribe to the channel for more educative and developmental projects across Ghana and Africa as a whole. Do you want to know about the state of a project in Africa? Then make sure to like and comment the name of the project you would like us to talk about and its current state.